Tam Talks explores life, spirituality, and general weirdness through quirky storytelling and laughter, lighting you up in your life journey. Let's go!
Welcome back to another episode of Tam Talks. So I am tackling this one. I've been hesitant to because it's a very touchy subject. And I'm in it. So I thought, you know what, this may serve others. So I want to talk about parenting. Oh my gosh. Okay, let's talk about, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to start from I'm going to see how this goes, because I don't know if I want to touch on parenting teenagers. But we're going to start with, I have this random weird hair sticking out. Okay. We're going to start with becoming a parent. Now, I became a parent in 2007, so this may be time appropriate. But back in that time, it was the thing to do is to go and do prenatal classes. So you would get together with, a group of strangers, and there were all these pregnant mamas, and it was really cool. I lived in the Halton region. I lived in Milton, so it was run through the region. All these services, all these courses were free, and it was so beautifully supported. Anyways, so you went through the stuff what it's going to be like during birth, and you talked about a few things, but you really didn't talk about a lot of those deep things. Are you going to co-sleep? Are you going to breastfeed? What are you going to do if the baby doesn't start crying? What happens when the baby's sick? Do you have support people in place? Are you, are you going to make your own baby food? Are you going to wait until a certain age? Are they going to nap? How long are you going to co-sleep? All of the stuff that before you have kids, you have no idea even is an issue. At least I didn't. I was just oh, cool, we're going to have a child, and we're going to raise this child, and we're going to do our very best and whatnot. And so what I found out shortly after birth, even during birth, is that people really want to give their opinion, especially when these babies are young. And we're talking people in the grocery store, just complete strangers. And so I think the point of this particular episode, if it reaches people who have young kids, or especially new moms, and you're in it, what I learned, I would say after my second child, was I kind of deepened into trusting myself more and knowing that I'm fully capable of being a great parent. And the first time around, oh my goodness, you have so many opinions, friends, family. I always did cool parenting courses so I could learn new things, usually through the early years center. I was always doing things to kind of keep myself up to date and aware, and I'd be reading parenting books and all the things. I love being a parent. Especially when I first had kids, I remember saying, so I didn't go back to work, which was a big surprise, especially to my now ex-husband. That was never part of the plan. We thought the whole plan was I would go back to work and just get pregnant again. And then I would come off and raise the second child and maybe then not go back. But we didn't really even plan that far. So when I actually had my first child, and, as months passed on my maternity leave, I just couldn't think about leaving him. And I felt this deep sense of purpose and meaning, just being a mom. And I thought, if this is it, if this is my purpose and my meaning of life, then amazing. This is it. If I can raise this child to be an amazing human being, not too much pressure. In retrospect, I'm oh my gosh, that's a lot of pressure. But I felt just truly honored. And having my second child, having the two of them, we had so many great adventures, and I value every moment with them. So anyways, I ended up staying home. I didn't go back to work after the maternity leave. I did have a miscarriage in between, and then soon after that, within a few months, then I was pregnant with my second. We just made it work. And yes, I had the bigger salary at that time. So we had to rejig things and we had to figure it out. And I had to work part-time. Like I remember cleaning, I think there were 2 different places I cleaned, and one was my mom's friend's sister. And so I would go clean her house. I would bring my son and put him in the playpen, or wonder if I feel like my aunt watched him. Can't even remember. We're talking almost 20 years ago now. So anyways, but so coming back to this parenting piece, if you are a parent to kids, I really want people to understand that even if society tells you to do things one way, or your relatives or your in-laws or your friends or just people try to impart their wisdom, and in your gut you feel that that's not right, then don't do it. Do what feels right for you and your family. Ultimately, you hope that you and your partner are on the same page and that you can work through these things together. If you aren't, I mean, that's another episode. That was my existence. But I still worked it out. I ended up calling off the marriage and was like, nope, I'm not doing this. But, which I don't, whatever. I'm not telling people go get divorced. But I am telling you to listen to your gut. And if you feel deeply that co-sleeping or nursing your child or making homemade baby food instead of getting like, what's it called, bottled or whatever type baby food, if that's your jam, then do it. If people call you a hippie or they call you old-fashioned, who cares? Let them. If you decide to give your baby, what is it called, formula, like bottle feed your baby, if you want to give them, if you don't want to make homemade baby food, then don't. Do you. I just ask, this is a public service announcement, please stop putting screens in front of your babies' faces and your children. I am a huge advocate for this, and my children luckily came through just where in their younger years cell phones were just becoming a thing and social media wasn't quite a thing for kids, at least yet. And so I kind of brought them through. But now, I mean, please stop giving a screen to your kid. If you're out on a walk with your child, put your phone away. Don't give them their phone. If your child starts crying or they're upset, maybe just check the normal things. Don't shove a screen in front of their face to distract them. If you go out to a restaurant, don't give them a tablet. This is me getting into a rant, so I'm gonna not. But I just think we're losing that connection. And I think we're seeing it as a result in society with how people or children are lacking the ability to relate to others. And I don't know that these screens are helping. So anyways, I digress. Get off of that. I get very fiery. Look up Jonathan Haidt. He's written a book called The Anxious Generation. I've got it on my table. It's up next. I'm currently reading, I think, 3 books. But I need to finish some of those and start. Anyways, but he's making huge strides all over the world with getting kind of some guidelines put into place with age appropriateness for social media and screen time for kids. So that's amazing. But okay, parenthood. Here's another thing that I want to let people know. Over the years, especially I find for me as a single parent who parents 24/7, and pretty much has, other than I dated someone, so he lived with us for I think 2 years at this point, but for the last decade, other than that piece, and he wasn't really parenting. So I have parented my boys 24/7 pretty much for the majority of the last decade. And for me and for many other women, I find sometimes it's hard to admit that we don't have this, that we do need help. We do need fresh ideas. And so just letting everybody, giving the permission, if you can't give yourself permission, I'm giving you permission to ask for help. So whether that's in a formal setting where you seek help of like with social work or therapy or just like parenting courses, parenting groups, whatever that specific need is, or if it's just asking relatives for, can you take, I remember when I first was parenting on my own for probably the first few years, I would call my mom who lived across the street and I'd be like, can I send them over? They're driving me nuts. And it would be like maybe once every 6 months. But I would be I'm a Libra. I'm pretty chill. I'm pretty cool. I'm fun. I'm like, I keep my kids active. We're always outside doing things. But man, that was a lot sometimes. So my mom would be like, send them over. And so my mom and my aunt lived together. And they were just like the coolest. So they'd go over there, and whether I don't know, just hang out. Maybe they'd bake something. Maybe they would do a craft, or they'd go in the backyard. They'd just hang out. But there was always this time where they would get a little bit of a pep talk about how they're treating mom. So stuff like that. And not necessarily, maybe they don't need the pep talk part. That doesn't have to be it, but just that there's someone there. And they would take them for maybe an hour or two, and I would just go, whew, okay, I can calm down now. So don't be afraid to ask for help. Especially if you have like a group. I also want to mention this. When my boys were young, when I had my first son, I went to a parenting group, and I remember meeting so many wonderful people. But I especially clicked with two of my really good friends, Jackie and Rita, and they had children. All like our kids are within a few weeks of each other, because that's how we met, when they were all newborns at those mother goose things and whatnot. So over the years, especially over our mat leaves, we would get together, I think it was every week. And we would either go for a walk, or we would go to one of our houses with these babies in tow, our little car seats. And as they got bigger, we'd go to conservation areas. We'd go all over. It was so beautiful. And we would just have so get your crew, get your mom crew. Because we would talk about things, and we would be like, oh my gosh, like the breastfeeding. Everything. We would talk about our husbands. We would all of the things, but those were such magical, magical times. I am still friends with those lovely ladies and their children, because then we had one of my friends had another around the same time that I had my second. The other friend has the one. And so we got together last summer. Oh, I saw one of them the other day. And, our kids are almost 19. So these beautiful beings who we held space for each other. It was amazing. Get those people. Get your butt out. Go do these whatever, mommy and me groups, or find I think I'm not on Facebook, but I'm sure there's groups on there, because then when my kids, when they started school, well, then you become friends with their school friends' parents. And then when I homeschooled and pulled them out of the system, well, then we had a homeschooling group, and then they go back into school and you make other friends. It's just have your people. Ask for help when you need it. Stick with your gut. Always trust your gut. And if you need help, just get it. Right? There's so many, and I do want to do a shout out. I'm not going to get into detail, but where I live now, there's a beautiful place. I think it's called Reach, and it's in Townsend, and it's through Norfolk County, and it's covered by the government. It's like a drop-in. You can go and do a drop-in as a parent, or with your child up into, I think, the age 18. They are phenomenal. They are phenomenal, and they have brilliant ideas. There's also through McMaster Hospital, they have free parenting workshops virtually, just to help you be a good parent, no matter what age your kids are. Mine are now 16 and almost 19. I still tap in. I'm still learning. It's a different freaking level, but we're getting there. So I hope this episode maybe gave you a little bit of insight or something that can help. Thanks for listening. Peace out.
Thanks for hanging out and listening to my wild and wacky Tam Talks. Follow Tam Talks to be notified of new episodes. Peace out!